I am Mr. Distilio. I am the former principal at Bunker Hill Middle School, and I'm currently a director at Central Office, and one of my focuses at Central Office is school and community outreach. So this is the We Are Township Leadership Podcast. So we are interviewing teacher leaders along with several students in each segment to kind of discuss about how they view leadership from their perspective and from their lens. So the first thing I'd like to introduce Miss Eisa Jackson. Miss Jackson, I don't really know personally, but I've over the years have a lot of admiration for your work and what you do. I as a leader myself, or a leader that I try to be, I see the way you're able to bring kids into an environment where they feel safe, where they feel respected, and not only feel that way, but flourish as a result of your intervention. You're a township graduate. You obviously teach in the community as well, and I'm just impressed by your ability to lead the children the way you do. So, I just wanted to tell you that, and because I had you here as a leader, you chose 3 individuals. So I was wondering if you could introduce your 3 leaders to us.
Okay, so I chose 3. It was difficult because there's a lot of really good student leaders here at Township, but this is James Connor.
Hi.
He was the president of our African American Culture Club last year. This is Juliana Bush.
Hi.
And she is, goes by Jules, right?
Yeah.
And she is our secretary currently and a member of the African American Culture Club. And we have Gia DeVito, who is one of my dance students here at the school. I've taught her for a long time here, as well as outside of school. So
Great.
I just admire these 3 students. They do great things.
Excellent. So the question that we're going to ask right now is kind of, if Miss Jackson feels this way about you, that you all are leaders, why is leadership important to you, and what does it mean to you? And James, you said you had a nice...
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. On the walk over here, I cooked up a little something. Look at this.
Well, let's hear you,
Let me
James.
pull the mic over and look closer. All right, turn it over to me. Well, I was thinking, because leadership is important, mostly because it's the job that not many people want to do. Nobody really wants to stay after school to help out, or make sure that the meeting and the topic is staying on the main topic and making sure that everyone has to get done what they need to do. But that leader is that person who cares so much that they're willing to do that extra step, to go that extra place. And that's why leaders are important, because they're needed to do that. And there has to be someone that has to do that, and that's what a leader is.
Very good. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to piggyback or add
I'll
their own
piggyback.
things?
I was
Okay.
also thinking of my
Oh,
responsibility.
very good.
But I feel like leadership is important because there are a lot of students out there, or just a lot of people our age out there who stray away from things, and they're shy, and they just don't have those qualities that a natural leader would have. And I feel like the leaders, they bring those people in, they encourage everybody to work together. They kind of encourage those people to be more outgoing and to make new friends, and leaders set up this really friendly environment with those students to be able to bring everyone together.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like there's a lot of people who want to start things or try to be a leader, but they're a little nervous to, or scared that it's not going to go that way. But leaders, people who take the charge, sometimes it fails, but sometimes it succeeds, and then you create a new family of friendships and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
Well, leaders are inherently risk takers, right? You don't
Yeah.
lead by being safe all the time, right? You can't do that. So, can you expand a little bit on what you mean kind of by that?
I don't know, say you're in a classroom and a teacher asks a question. No one really wants to answer because they think they're going to be wrong. But there's one person who doesn't really care about being wrong, but they're going to try their best. That's a leader, because then other people might start sharing their answers or opinions on it, and because they feel comfortable doing that. So a leader kind of just paves the way so that other people can maybe feel comfortable or try new things that they didn't think they'd be interested or confident enough to talk about.
Yeah, that leader's that first step in the stepping path,
Yeah.
And I think all these students are really great at doing that. You know what I mean? they make people feel comfortable. They come out of their shell and share their experiences and make other people want to share as well. That's why I chose you guys, because you are standout students and you set the tone for others to follow. So it's really great.
Before we get into our pre-planned questions, I just kind of want to ask you guys. You are vice president, or you are secretary
Yeah.
of the African American Culture Club, right?
Yes.
And are you currently president, or were you last year?
I was president last year.
Okay. Do you have a role in the club now?
No, I'm just a member right now.
Okay, so this is an interesting perspective, right? So whenever you have any club, whatever it is, in order for that club to sustain, people have to feel welcome, right? Now, are you a senior too?
No, I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, right? So you're a senior,
I'm a senior.
right?
Yes.
So this is important for you, Jules. How do you go to a club and take that risk to join a club, and then what was it about the club, or maybe the culture that James forged, that allowed you to want to sustain that club and now become an officer in the club?
So I joined the African American Culture Club my freshman year. Like I went to the first meeting and I was like, oh, I really like these people, because the exec board and our advisors, Ms. Jackson and Ms. McNeil, were very welcoming to everybody. And the reason I joined was because I wanted to learn more about my Black culture. And I feel like that club has really helped me sprout in knowing and understanding my Black culture. And it's really fun doing the activities we do, like our dinner theater, and we had a fashion show in it last year. It was really fun. But after that, when we were talking about elections for the new exec board for 2024, I was like, I want to be able to do that for the new people that are coming in, and not even just the new freshmen this year, but the class of 29 and 30 when I'll be here. To keep I want to continue to be in the exec board, but I want to continue growing the program, and get more participants in things like AXO, and just spread the program so that people like me can come and join and they can get what they want out of the program.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Now, James. Now,
That's nice.
you helped create that environment, right?
Yes.
So what was it about, whether it's something that you had a vision of, or we talk about leadership can be top to back or side by side, right? So how did you, with your other executive board members, kind of try to forge that feeling for Jules?
It's when you're making a club like that, because this was the first year that was fully Miss McNeil running it, because just before last year we had Miss LaFleur who was running it.
Okay.
So it was kind of a brand new thing, and it was like a new era for the African American Culture Club in a general sense. And me personally, now I can't speak for everyone in the executive board. We talk to each other, but I can't speak for all of them. My thing is, I want to talk to as many people, get to know as many people, get to know everybody in the club. And I feel like I made a friendship and a personal connection with everyone in the club. And I think just knowing everyone and talking to everyone and meeting these people, seeing who they are as people, seeing why they wanted to join the club, seeing who stays, who doesn't come, see who wants to participate, who wants to keep going, who wants to keep doing more. That's how you build that club and make it into something that people want to grow in, something that people want to stay in, people that want to keep it. You know what I'm saying?
I want to ask Ms. Jackson, I didn't really get a chance to ask you, what you see in yourself as a leader. Obviously, all of these three students, among many others, value your leadership, right? And I'm just curious to, if you could share your perspective.
I feel like one of the things I try to do as a leader is show up each day and just be my true self. I try to set a positive example for students, especially being an African American teacher here at the high school, with the African American Culture Club, but as well with all of my students, and as a dancer, because a lot of kids here want to dance and they're looking to someone to see what the career could be like. So I try to lead in that way. I also try to inspire them with my passion, letting them know that you can always continue to learn and grow. No matter how old you get, you can still take class, you can still learn and grow. And one of the other things I try to do in my classroom is create a safe space for them to learn and grow and feel respected. I know a lot of people come to dance for that reason, because it's a different kind of class. It's a class where they can be themselves and express themselves in a different way. So I try to create a culture in my classroom where everybody can feel safe, they can feel respected, they can learn and grow at their own pace. They know that if they make a mistake, they're not going to be, it's not a bad thing. Making mistakes is how we grow and how we learn. I always tell them, fake it till you make it. You're going to figure it out. You're going to get there. So those are the ways that I try to lead in the school community.
Excellent, thank you. Can you piggyback on that? Because you're a dancer, right? So talk to us about that.
Well, I've always felt really comfortable with Miss Jackson, especially like in dance. I feel like she definitely gave me an example of like how a teacher and a leader should be. I've always been like inspired by her passion for dance. She always just makes it more than just dancing. She tells us a story. She'll make it like more like personal. Like
Right.
I feel more comfortable when I'm with Miss Jackson dancing, and I feel like in a classroom that's really important, or just in general, like any leader, it's really important that you feel comfortable around them.
Now that you're a senior, what do you do now when you see the younger people coming in? I mean, I know from my experience, what I know is that you have different classes. Like all the seniors are in one class and all the freshmen are in another. And when it comes time for your showcase that you do, it's all the kids, and then you're probably you're having the clubs or the dance team stay after for tryouts for
Right.
different things that they're going to do. So you're going to probably be on stage with a bunch of freshmen, right? So how do you make sure that they want to be where you are as a senior?
I don't make them feel like they're like because like freshmen, like, there's like tiers, like it's obviously in your grade. Like I
Right.
don't make them feel that way. I try to make them feel like, oh, you're gonna be here one day. Like I was where you are. You just have to work and give it your all to get where I am. But like that doesn't mean I'm better than you. Like
Right.
I try to talk to everybody at auditions, when I see them at rehearsals. I try to just make them feel like they belong with where they are, because they got there for working hard and like they deserve their spot. And I try to make sure everyone feels that way. And like I talk to them and I tell them like about my experience, and I don't just say like you have to do this, you have to do that. Like they will learn themselves with guidance from upperclassmen, and like I don't know, I feel like that helps them.
Excellent. Anybody else want to share at all? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I'm in dance one.
Oh, are you?
Yes, I just joined.
So that's an interesting
dance.
perspective, isn't it? Because you're probably with a bunch of freshmen.
I'm in the freshman class.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about your experience.
I don't know. It's just been fun. You know,
Yeah.
I always try to take as many classes as I could, and I had an open spot this year. I had 2 study halls because of like the weirdness of the schedule, but that's a whole different podcast. Yeah, and I remember I walked up to Miss Jackson. I was like, "So this is period 7 dance," and I was dance 1, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna sign up," and I signed up.
He did
and
the
I've
next
been
day.
there.
Did you take
Yeah,
it as a
since.
fine arts credit, or did you have other fine arts
Oh, I
credit?
have other fun.
He's got
Okay.
plenty.
Oh, right, because you're in chorus, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Of course.
So,
Yeah.
Do you do drama as well?
And I'm in drama. I'm in
Yeah.
the honors theater class too.
very good. Yeah. Well, so you took a risk, right?
I did. I
Right.
had to. You know.
I was proud of him because a lot of kids won't do that. Like I have a lot of kids that will sign up for dance 1, being a senior, and be like, "Oh no, I don't want to be with all these freshmen."
Sure.
But he has a little bit of dance experience from his drama club and musical theater stuff. But I think he's learning and he's growing and he's being a leader in the class. Like even though he may not have as much experience as some of the other students in the class, he's leading and they're following and they follow his vibe, and the vibes are good in my class because he's there and he's working hard, and he really shows like, I'm a senior just starting out. I'm going to try everything. I'm not going to give up. So that's really good for the freshmen and the underclassmen to see.
Yeah, and honestly, they be teaching me because like I didn't even know how to do some of the turns that they show up and they'll just do like 5 turns, and I'm like, all right, let me try and do 2, try and catch up, And
Well,
I usually
sometimes
fall, but
sometimes a leader doesn't have to lead from the front. Sometimes they can lead
Yeah.
from the back too, and let other people and teach them. A leader doesn't have to know everything to be the leader.
Exactly,
know.
that's facts.
So I have, one of the things that we talk about is there's different types of leadership styles. I wanted to focus on 2, servant leadership and transformational leadership. And in the other segments, I was talking about just my experience as a principal in my former job. I want to be transformational, which means I want to see a situation and I want to make it better for kids, and I want to create an environment where everybody feels respected and valued, right? And you do that, and you have those plans, and you create that system in the school. But invariably what happens in the school is, a kid who's 12 does something silly, and you have to discipline that, or you have to talk to a teacher, you have to talk to a parent. So that's called transactional, where there's a situation, I have to respond to it, and I have to solve it, right? There's also servant leadership, and for me as a person, I don't know if I'm always successful, but that's what I aim to be, and that means that I put myself last, and I let other people around me shine, because if other people around me shine, then what I'm trying to do is better, right? If Miss Jackson makes other people shine at dance, and she doesn't go out and dance for everybody, she shows the value of her work because she's creating for like 100+ individuals a wonderful experience, There's a quote from a guy named, they call him Sully, but Sullenberger. It's the guy that landed the plane in the Hudson. You ever hear about this guy? So he has a quote that says, a leader is the first one into the fray, but the last one into safety, And that's servant leadership to the finest. And not everybody has to answer this question, but I'm curious where you all see yourself as the type of leader. Like, even if it's not servant or transformational, I just kind of want to know, like, how do you define your leadership? That would be the question. I'll start with Miss Jackson to give you guys time to kind of decipher and talk about.
That's tricky. That's a tough one. That's tough. I mean, I want to be transformational. I want to, help others transform to be the best they can be. But I also want to serve. So it's kind of a mid-range, I think. Like, I want to serve the others, but I also want to be transformational. I honestly just want to set a positive example for others to see, and hope that they take whatever parts of what I'm doing along with them to build their own leadership brand. Do you mean so?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am.
That's a great statement. Yeah.
All right. I gotta say this. If it's servant and transformational, I've never been a servant leadership. I've never done that type of leadership. If I have to pick from those two, it'd definitely be transformational. But if I had to make my own, like you said, I could. I don't know. It had to be sort of symbol leadership. That's what I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it symbol leadership. Symbol leadership.
Symbol. Tell me.
Symbol
Tell me
leadership.
more.
Myself, and I want to do as many things as possible. That's why throughout all my years of the 4 years of high school, this first year was the first ever year I took a study hall. I've always been booked. I've always had full classes. I've always wanted to do more. I've always wanted to do more. And I think that's what makes me that much of a leader, because I do all that much, and people see that, and they want to try and emulate that, and they want to do that too, and they want to do stuff like I do, and they want to have fun like I do, and push themselves like I do. So I agree that it's an amazing thing, serving leadership, just being able to step back and let other people do what they do and shine. But I've always myself been a shiner, so I'm not gonna lie. I've always myself been a shiner, so I shine bright, and others shine bright alongside me.
I like that.
Yeah, it's nice.
I totally agree with that. Like, I feel like I am definitely a transformational leader over servant. I feel like I really love being positive and enthusiastic. Like, for example, like on the volleyball court or on the soccer field, like, I am that person who is jumping up and down and screaming and cheering. And it's not just for myself. It's like when my teammate gets an amazing hit, I'm jumping up and down and screaming and celebrating for them because I want to see them shine. I also think that I'm a shiner. But I feel like you said, like, when people shine, other people around you begin to feed off of that energy, and they start to shine too. Like, and I feel like that is a really good quality that a leader can have, because everyone wants to shine, but there's those people that they either can't shine on by themselves, or they're too nervous to do something that will make them shine. They're just shy about it. But when there's that person who's not shy at all, and they're encouraging, and they're just so energetic and positive, and they're radiating their energy onto them, that kind of, not forces, but like, it really brings out other people's shine, and it brings out their inner shine that maybe they can't do themselves.
I like that.
Yeah, I have to agree with what Jules said about, like, she used volleyball as an example. Like, I could say the same thing about dance. I feel like the dance world is very competitive, even with your closest friends. So if you go in with a negative attitude, then everyone around you is going to feel that. But if you go in with the positive attitude that no one else has, like, without even, like, forcing it on anyone or saying anything, like, that can just, like, rub off on everyone. And then it just makes everyone's experience better because you aren't being negative. There's nothing really to be negative about. It's just a competitive world. And, like, we all know that that's how, like, dance is. But, like, the vibe you give off is the vibe everyone's going to get from it. So, like, you make that for yourself, and then that can either have a good effect or a bad effect, and that is up to you.
I think that's really cool because I feel like sometimes I find that a lot of students don't want to shine or they try to hide their shine. And these three, another reason why I picked them, they like shine, they shine bright, and it makes other people be like, oh, take notice and be like, oh, I want to do that, I want to be that. There's so many kids that just kind of try to hide. Even my dance class, I'm like, go, be big, make a mistake, it's okay, but shine bright and do it. And so that's why I really appreciate them. I love that, like that whole shine. That's really awesome. I think as a dancer, that's what we just do. We want to shine. We want to be on stage in the spotlight at the same time, but we will also want to spread it to others.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
you know.
It sounds like all of these students here lead by example.
Yeah,
and not
absolutely.
necessarily by words, but by work ethic and determination and stuff. So it's really great. There's also a question about ethical leadership, and ethical leadership has 6 or 7 qualities, and they are accountability, courage, character, integrity, empathy, resilience, and self-awareness. So the idea is that if you are an ethical leader, you exhibit some, one, or all of these qualities. And so many times, we're looking to find ethical leaders. When I was a kid, or Miss Jackson was a kid, we would look at elections, whether it be school board, town, or presidential, and it wasn't necessarily about who's really bad or who's really great. It's about, like, who do we agree more with? Now, it's like sometimes I'd want to write Miss Jackson's name in on the ballot or my name on the ballot because I honestly think we could do a better job, So my question is, if we're trying to get back to just being ethical humans and just being good people, like, what qualities of that leadership do you feel like you possess? I can read it again for you. Some of you have it in front of you, and I'll pause so you guys can reflect. Accountability, courage, character, integrity, empathy, resilience, and self-awareness. You don't all have to answer, but I'm interested in your opinions.
I saw this the other day, so I know. I know the words. I looked at it.
Talking to them.
So, all of these, when I looked at them and I read all of them, I thought of what I have, the word that I have that describes me. I'm very prideful.
Okay.
I'm very prideful. And if you ask almost anyone and everyone, just being a leader and being prideful, they don't really mix too well. So, through my experience of being a leader, I learned how to have pride in yourself and have pride and be a leader. It was a hard thing.
How
and
can you define? I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm interested in you defining prideful.
Prideful. I would describe prideful as being so confident in your ability to do something that it can come off as overwhelming to other people, and it can be overwhelming. Not just come off, it could just be overwhelming in a general sense to yourself and to others.
Understand.
Yes. And when you're being a leader, being prideful in yourself, that's just not going to work because there's so many people that you're looking after, that you're trying to help. So with all of these, it's about being prideful in others and splitting that pride, being prideful in what you're doing, being prideful in who you're being with, and being, self-aware that you are prideful and that you can make mistakes. So you got to have that accountability. You got to have that self-awareness. I'm trying to throw in all 6 words. You got to have that accountability, and you got to have that self-awareness to know that you can make mistakes, that you're not too prideful, that you're not able to admit that you have mistakes. And, well, pridefulness and courage, it's just it's a confidence thing that it just goes into it. Character, that's prideful. And empathy, that's just, I just believe that's something that's just inherently human. That's just something that everyone has. Everyone has empathy. It should be inherently human. Everyone has empathy. And some people think that they don't have empathy, and some people think that others don't have empathy. But I believe that everyone has a base form of empathy, and they just look at it differently. Some people have more empathy than others, but everyone has that base level of empathy, and everyone cares. And just knowing that and having pride in that fact will get you through being a leader, get you through life. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Something to go home with. Something to go home with.
I feel like all leaders have all 6 or 7 of these characteristics, but I feel like some can be greater than others in different leaders, and especially with the kind of leader that you believe you are, that could affect like which traits are stronger in you. For me, I feel like the traits that are stronger for me is character, courage, and self-awareness, those 3. Character, because as we said earlier, like the positivity and being able to shine, I think that comes from character and being confident and being prideful in yourself. And just knowing like, hey, I can do this, and if I can do this, everybody can do this, and like inspiring and encouraging. And I feel like that comes from being a transformational leader, is your character and your ability to be able to encourage people. For self-awareness, I feel everybody has self-awareness. Some is stronger than others, and then like it's just being able to know your areas of growth. I'm not going to say weaknesses because they're not weaknesses, but areas where you are able and you know that you're able to grow and expand and like just make your skills better in that area. And when a leader has that, it's like other people look up to that and they're like, oh, she might have made a mistake, or he might have like not did this so great, but he or she took that and they took that into their own like awareness, and they were like, I'm gonna do better at this, I will improve. And I feel like leaders really need to have that trait, and I think that also inspires other people. And I think I said courageous, but being brave, and we talked about this earlier also, but being a risk taker, like raising your hand in class when nobody else is, like being courageous and being able to step out of your comfort zone and being able to encourage others to step out of their comfort zones is really important, and I think courageous really describes that. But also on empathy, I feel like everyone has empathy, yes. And then leaders, I think, have that extra step of empathy, because, like, again, like, those students, like, I think most students are shy. They're too scared to raise their hand. They might want to make a club or do a podcast like this, but they're too nervous, and they're like, oh, what are people going to think of me? And I think that leaders can see that and put themselves in their shoes and be like make a comfortable environment for those people and those students to be able to like step out of their comfort zone. Like, I think leaders make that comfortable environment because of their empathy, and they're like, hey, I'm understanding that you're feeling a little nervous to do this club, but let's work on it together and let's do this, and they just bring people together.
I would respectfully, I would say that you're incredibly self-aware too. You know, I mean, and that's not a negative quality, but it's understanding. You made a very good comment about the difference between weaknesses and things you need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, those are 2 totally different things.
Yeah.
Your weakness is you wallow in it, or you have the self-accountability to say, I need to do something to get better.
Yeah.
You know, that was an impressive statement. Thank you for
you.
sharing.
Yeah,
Yep.
really.
All right, Gia, last one.
I feel like they said so much. I have like nothing left to say. Well, I was gonna say the same 3 that she said about herself: courage, character, and self-awareness. I feel like courage is really big in leadership because you need to have to be brave to take the risks. And I feel like a big thing is not doing what everyone else does because everyone else is doing it. Like, that doesn't make it the right thing. When you are self-aware and you have courage, like, you can know and tell yourself that just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean that's the right thing for you to do, or just, like, the right thing in general. Like, a leader, like I said earlier, paves their own way, and if people want to follow, then they follow, and if not, they can continue doing what they're doing, but that doesn't mean that, like, I have to do that because I don't think it's right or agree with it. The empathy thing is also really big because leaders do so much to make other people feel included and respected and involved, so they have to have that level of empathy to want to help others and want to, like, put in the work so that these people can get to this point and feel comfortable.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Thank you all for sharing. That's all the pre-planned questions I had. I didn't know if anybody wanted to have like a final statement to end the podcast or the episode today. It's not necessary. You can just say goodbye, but it's totally up to you guys.
I just think this is a great thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be part of the process, and I hope to see more of this. There's so many really great student leaders, so many great teachers here, staff members all across the board that we should definitely share across our district and let everybody know, like, what cool things, awesome things, but awesome students we have here at Township. So I appreciate you doing this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we started with 4 people, and we're hoping to branch out so that we have this throughout the whole year. So
It's very cool.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you.